Hi, everyone. How are you guys? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you guys are. I talked to somebody in Sweden. I think he's in Sweden that is doing the elephant challenge. So, how exciting is that? Quick story about him. Is he here? I know he's working with Dustin Florent at Florent. I don't know how to say his name. Dustin, you probably know. I'm gonna unmute you. Um,
He said flow rent, like flow and rent.
Florent. I am a queen
Yes.
butchering people's beautiful names. I feel like an a-hole every time I say a name that I know I'm butchering. So I just want, oh, he's here. Hey, where are you? Let me see if I can find you, Florent. Let me see if I can find you. So he was messaging me and I thought he was messaging me about Gator. And I was like, oh, he's like, where are you from? Let me see if I can find you.
He's in
Let's talk.
Sweden. It's like
Sweden,
9
I
o'clock
was
there.
right.
Yeah, it's like 9 o'clock there.
I just unmuted you, Florent, if you want to talk.
Yeah.
Hi. So I just voice messaged him, you guys, and I told him I'm going to use you as an example on how to do things. So many people, we have had the Elephant Challenge started about a couple months ago, and we have had 30,000 emails sign up. And as you guys know, we've had 2,500 to 300 people show up to Pace's lives. We have 86 here. So as you can see, the funnel's getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And so many people, it's just human nature. You guys consume, but there's no action taking. I'm not saying this is not you. Of 30,000 that got to the 2,500 that got to the 86, you guys are the action. So I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking about the people that won't take action and they'll just consume. So you are from Sweden and he's messaging me. I thought you were messaging me about Gator at first. And I was like, so I was confused. You're probably confused at my answers. And I was like, oh, you need to get with someone. He's he's making calls from Sweden to America. At like, what time is it there right now? It's nighttime, right?
Yeah, it's like 9:15.
So, and
9 o'clock, yeah.
And were you there on the last Zoom with us where Dustin's like, can you call in this lead in Boise because he feels like she didn't give him the time of day?
No, Wednesdays I can't make it, but I watched the replay.
Okay, so I called, and by the way, that one, they were open to create seller finance, and then she pitched it to the sellers and they said no, which it's okay. But I just want to use you as an example. And I told you you DM'd me on Instagram and I voice messaged you back. And I just want to say, I'm proud of you for, you feel like there's a language barrier, like an accent from what I understand Dustin said, but you were sitting there and you're taking action. And you have no way to text these people because he can't text from Sweden. I don't know. Maybe you can. It's probably going to cost $1 million. He's like, can you help me figure out how I can text and how I can call? And so I just want to commend you for, you have so many more hurdles than a lot of us in the United States have to overcome. And you're making it happen. So I'm proud of you. And Dustin's another one. He showed up a month ago, and you look at our CRM, it's like Dustin, so submitting leads. So I just want to use you two as examples and say, thank you for taking action. And I'm just very proud of you guys. So
Thank you.
Thanks.
You.
Yes, you guys
Dustin is the man.
That is the man.
And I love the two action takers like teamed up together. So you guys team up together, and this is what will set you guys apart from your people. Or from the other 30,000 people that like showed up once and then like never came back or just sat there and consumed the content and never took action on it. So I'm really happy every single one of you are here. Thank you for coming. And for those of you guys, how many people are new to this group? I'm sure that, let me know in the chat. I'm sure there's Bob is. I see a lot of, so there's newbies here. You guys are pretty new. First time. Christopher wrote ew, but I think he meant new. So this is your first call. Welcome, you guys. So as you guys know, you get here from Pace. I'm sure you guys were all on the Elephant Challenge. And before we've been doing, so with Pace, you never know. He's like, we're going to do agent outreach. And then he came on here and started doing pre-foreclosure. So we've been doing agent outreach. And I know a lot of you guys have expressed interest in pre-foreclosures. So you guys, I'm glad you guys got on a team. There's so many people that could not figure out how to get on a team. It was painful for them. So if it was painful for you, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you guys came to the Elephant Challenge. And so the Elephant Challenge is not over. We pick a team. This is your team. If you don't like me, you can go to someone else's team. It won't hurt my feelings. But this is where you guys get your lists that we pulled. And so we're going to be doing pre-foreclosure lists. So, what did we talk about? What did Pace talk about on the Elephant Challenge? He talked about how to find your market, which, yeah, Maria, I think you're right. He was calling it an accountability group for a long time. And I put them as accountability groups because that's what he would always call them. And then now he's calling them teams. So it's confusing. So I should put /team. You're right, Maria, I agree. So, well, welcome if this is your first you're new and this is your first Zoom. So what we'll go over is what Pace talked about on the Elephant Challenge, and now it's pre-foreclosures, which Dustin, I know you wanted to do, and who else did? Karima wanted to do pre-foreclosures. I don't know if she's here today. But yes, Tisha, you're right. You said, how do you talk to the marketing department of the title company? Did any of you guys call title companies? Look at you guys. Yay. You guys called title companies. I see you saying, yeah, I did in raising hands in here. So you guys are action takers. I love it. So did anybody get lists of, who said that? Haley, you said title companies. I called them and they can't give lists because they aren't realtors. Haley, what state are you in? I'm wondering if you're in Washington. That's where I am. He said no to Cali, but also, okay, wait. Atia said, I was a bit confused. He said no to California, but suggested we do title companies. I am California, I called. So why did we talk about not doing California is a rough state. So I know a lot of people want to do California. I'm not just calling yours out. Yeah, I am in Washington. It's a pain in the ass to do it here too. Because yes, George, you're right, because of the landlord laws. So when we're doing on our last call, for those of you guys that weren't here, one of the best things you can do going into this is begin with the end in mind and think like an investor, because you guys are going to be investors. So why do you think that begin with the end in mind? So if I'll do Washington. I don't want to pick on California because I think California gets a lot of grief, and I'll let you go, Atia, on this one. Whatever California does, Washington does. Like, it's like the governor of California says this, and then Washington and Oregon are like, us too, we're on board. It's so funny how it works. Politics. Anyways, so all are blue states. This is not a political statement. I'm not talking about it's about how blue states and red states look at businesses. It is so much easier to do business in red states. For example, blue states, COVID happened here in Washington. I'm in Washington, right outside of Seattle. When COVID happened, everything shut down. A lot of the states shut down everything just because nobody knew what was going on. And they're like, you have to wear masks. And then, some states opened up and some states didn't. And in Washington, what happened was there was riots. So this is downtown Seattle. There was riots, there was protests. People were looting businesses. There was this thing called Chaz, where it was like established in downtown Seattle with like blockades. And it was like, we are saying that you can't the government, this is a no government zone. No government can come in, and we're going to do our own thing, and we're going to make our own thing. So there was Chaz happening. And then if you were a landlord in Seattle, since there was a moratorium put on, this happened in California as well, there's a moratorium on eviction. So people were not paying their bills. things got shut down. They couldn't. Like at the beginning of COVID, nobody really knew what was going on. And it was just a thing, and it was just like, okay, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what COVID is. And by the way, this is not a political statement. I'm not putting my opinions on COVID. I'm just stating facts. I know this can be a politically charged conversation. I'm just spitting facts here. So no one knew what was going on. Things closed down. Jobs did not happen. Yes, the government gave checks to people, blah, 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 blah. But like once it kind of like lifted and we're like, okay, we got the vaccines and stuff, states like California and Washington have put down laws that are saying there's an eviction moratorium. So it just lets people not pay with no consequences if you're a landlord. So I'm a landlord. Thank God I'm not one in Seattle. I'm outside of Seattle. I'm in Pierce County. King County is Seattle. And these people they still can't evict them. So there's people like me who rely on the renters to pay the mortgage. It's not like I'm just some rich person just sitting here on piles of money. So California and Washington are not landlord friendly. So they have eviction moratoriums. Landlords are losing their houses because they can't pay for it because they can't take any action and evict these people. And these people can stay. So you have no rights of your property once somebody comes in. So, Maria said, I saw it in Seattle, in Compton. Yeah, to Compton. It's tough here. So that's why do I talk about this? We're going to be pulling lists and we're going to be selling these and wholesaling these to investors. If when you guys buy in highly politically charged blue states like Seattle and like California, especially sanctuary cities where there's a lot of homelessness, it's sad. I'm not putting my political opinion on this, but especially in sanctuary cities like Seattle and San Francisco, it's really, 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 really hard to be a landlord. So nobody invests there. So yes, unless you guys are going to hold these in San Francisco, they're expensive. The taxes are high. The landlord things are tough. If you can't evict people, the tenants have more rights to that property than the people that own them. Rent control, Andrew, absolutely right. Jesse, yes, the laws in Eastern Washington are different since we tend to be more red on the side. Washington's crazy. Like, you're right. So if you're in Yakima, so the state of Washington is like half blue, but it's a blue state because there's more population in the cities. So like the Seattle area is like blue, and then Western Washington, yes, you're right, is more red. So, but you still have things that are state laws that will affect you in Yakima. So like the taxes and the rules and the regulations and this stuff, like counties might be easier to work with. But yes, George, we're entrepreneurs. It's not political. So this is why PACE is like, do not go to California. Don't go to Washington, because you guys are going to be pulling lists and you're going to be saving these people from foreclosure. And then you're like, great, I'm going to save you from foreclosure, but nobody's going to buy this because it's in like San Francisco or Seattle, where the cost of living is high. Homelessness is running rampant. There's like taxes on top of taxes on top of taxes on top of taxes. You can't make money as an investor there. So that is why I'm just going over why you pick your market. Go to red states. So basically, unless you're doing skip short-term rental, skip trace only, Washington, Oregon, and California. So Elena, I'm also in Washington, a blue state. I live in Gig Harbor and I want to rent out my house short-term for when I'm gone. I can't do that here. There is a huge, so even short-term rentals, Gig Harbor is coming up with places. It's in Seattle and a lot of Leavenworth, a lot of these cities, they're coming up with rules and regulations where you have to ask them. So here where I live, oh, you lived in Key Center. So we were kind of neighbors. So here in Gig Harbor, they're like, okay, well, you have to ask us and you have to get a permit. And then once we give you the permit, you have to be there and you have to have X amount of people per room. And you're just like, holy shit, whose house is this? Like, even if you do short-term rental, you have to ask the city. And then we're going to city council meetings. I've just given up. I'm not going to short-term rental this place. And then you have to ask the city, you have to pay the city $2,000 for a permit application, just to apply. And then they can decide if they want to do it. And then once you do it, you have to have X amount of rooms and you have to be there and you have to have so many people per room. And if you get more than 3 person per room, then they can fine you. So going back to what you said on short-term rentals, even short-term rentals are a pain in the ass. A lot of places are closing down and selling short-term rentals because of these rules. So that's a pick your market thing. Why you don't go to Washington, California. I went on a tangent. Any questions on the market picking? Why you want red states? Okay. So so you guys picked your, did you guys call? So where did you guys call for your markets when you guys picked?
We called Texas to speak to some of the title companies, and they were really, it's like a non-disclosure state totally. They were really excited to work with us, and they really were excited about sub 2 creative finance, like any deal, bring it to us so we can get paid, but we won't give you nada. So
we're not going to help you get there.
Right.
So Texas is tough. Idaho's the same way, both red states, but non-disclosure is there's laws within the state saying, if you buy a house, it's a privacy thing. It's good for us as homeowners. It's good because then people like me and Dustin won't call you and be like, can you sell your house to us? So it's like, it's a privacy law thing, non-disclosure. You also don't have to say, register with the state, how much you paid for the house and your name and make your stuff public information. It's very nice as a buyer for privacy, not great. So how many people got lists? Let me know, let me know in the chat. Put 1 if you got a list. Keisha did, Amanda, Jesse. Look at you guys, action takers. Berger, Phi, John, Aaron. Waiting to hear back from the title company, Laura. Nice work. So what else did Pace talk about? How do we talk to we have these lists. DFW said to buy one. We got one for you. I got a Texas list for you guys that Pace pulled, an Austin, Texas list. So, let me know. You can, Arizona list. So a lot of them are skip tracing right now. The Austin, Texas one is the one that's done skip tracing. Do you guys know what skip tracing is? Okay. If you don't, let me know. So you guys got an Atlanta list. So skip tracing is once you get the list, it says like Carly Grunman owns this property at this address in ABC, but you need to skip trace it because you want to call Carly Grunman and be like, can you sell me your list? I hear you're in foreclosure. Where's the Austin list? I haven't given it to you yet. We're waiting. We're going over. Be patient, young grasshoppers. What company is best to skip trace? You can do anything, Andrew. Pasted batch. That's what we talked about. Ooh, Keisha, yours came skip traced and scrubbed. Damn. Where did you get your list from, Keisha? Did you get yours from a title company? We all need to know the title company you called. Skip traced and scrubbed means they give you their phone numbers, not just their names. And then scrubbed means they make sure they're legit numbers. I use Deal Machine. Deal Machine's fine. You guys can use whatever you want. So these are pre-foreclosure lists that they're calling. What did we talk about? Let me know what Pace talked about. I'm just going over everything. How do we talk to these lists? So we've been going over, if you've been on this call for a while, we've been going over agents and we've been going to the gatekeeper. So now we're bypassing. I don't think these are on market. If they're on market, you have to go to the agent.
Yeah, the ones on Privy that I'm pulling for Dallas Fort Worth I just started today. They had agents associated with them, but I wasn't sure like what was our dispo strategy. So I kind of was just getting information like what's their motivation, what's going on. I got a pretty good motivated person, but the price is nuts. But we can talk about that later when you're done going over the basics.
Yeah. And so when he's talking about dispo strategy, what he's talking about is what we're going to do with these. So all these, we're going to wholesale them. So we want to get them under contract sub 2 or cash at a super discounted rate. And you don't have to go to agent. So a lot of these, Christina, it depends. So if they're on market, you do have to go to the agent. I mean, it's good business practices. It's good ethics. Yes, do not go around people. You want to make friends, not enemies in this. So if it's on market, please go to the agent. These lists, a lot of them are pre-foreclosure, so they may not be on market. So you're going direct to seller, DTS, direct to seller.
Yeah.
And the way you guys talk to, so these, let's talk about these people. Do you guys know what finding the bunnies is? If I reference that, because I'm going to, if you don't, let me know. It's okay. Okay. Haley doesn't. That's okay. A few of you don't. So finding the bunnies, you're leading with giving, not taking. So if I am going to call a pre-foreclosure list and I'm going to lead with taking, I'm going to be like, hey, so-and-so, you're in foreclosure. I want to buy your house. Like, give me your house. That is like, you want to lead. Whenever you contact someone and you want something from them in life, introduce yourself and bring value. So the story with the bunnies, Pace's bunny story is back in the day when he was a contractor and before he was big deal Pace, he was wholesaling just like this. And so he was in Idaho and he found this lady and he was where his family and him lived. And he went to her and he's like, I want to buy this house from you, but I can only pay this much. It was like $50,000 less than what she was asking. She's like, I really like you as a person, but I need more. And he's like, that's fine. That's fair. I get that. He's like, in the meantime, is there anything I can help you with? And she's like, no, you don't understand. I'm not selling to you. Even if you help me with something, I'm not selling to you. And he's like, that's fine. Like, how can I be of service to you? How can I lead with a value? How can I give to you? So she's already been like, I'm not your customer, not your seller, like buy. And everybody else probably would have left. So she's like, well, I have these bunnies in the backyard and I need to find them homes. Like they're just replicating like crazy. And he's like, okay. He calls his mom. He's like, Mom, do you know anybody that wants these bunnies? And she's like, yep. And she comes and she takes the bunnies and he's like, bye. She's like, I'm still not going to sell to you. And he's like, okay, that's fine. And he follows up with her and he's like, how is everything going? Do you need anything else? Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I'm still not selling to you. And he's like, that's fine. So he's giving, he's not receiving it. And then like 2 months later, she calls him and she's like, hey, Pace, I want to sell to you. And he's like, I can't buy it at that high price. Like you, and she's like, no, I'll take a hit and I'll sell it to you at your price, $50,000 less because, and he's like, why? And she's like, because everybody else, every wholesaler that came to me was like, I want this. I want your house. What can I have? It's all about me. It's all about give me. And she's like, and you were like, what can I give you? And so she's like, because of that, I want to sell to you. So it's finding the bunnies is what we say. Find the bunnies. And so, not every time this is going to happen, but you can get a lot more. You tracked. What is the saying? I always screw this up. And Josh Deere always gives me shit for it. You can tract a lot more bees with honey. And then if you have shit, you attract more flies or something. I don't know that. You guys know that thing? Like you want to attract the honey. Like you get flies when you bring crap to them. So then vinegar or something. Yeah. I didn't always screw that up. But what I'm saying is you want to bring the honey, bring the sweetness, bring the giving, bring the kindness. I have so many people I see in Pace's DMs all the time. Like, he's actually in there. It's not me, but I have access to a thing. And people are like, can you give me this? Can you give me this? Can you give me this? Give me. Can I have your contract? Can I have this? Can you get on a one-on-one with me? Can you? And I'm just like, God, when you're like a person of influence, like everybody wants to take something from you. And it happens. The same thing happens with pre-foreclosure. You may not be a person of influence, but you're on a list. And what is like, let's put ourselves in their shoes right now. Like they're in pre-foreclosure. What does that mean? They're not paying their bills. They're not paying their house bills. That likely they're not paying their sewer, garbage, electric, cable, whatever else bills they have. So they've got a lot of bill collectors calling them. They're in a shitty place in life because if you're in pre-foreclosure, it's a shitty time of life. Like it's tough. it's a tough time. Like you're not paying your bills. You're on the verge of losing your house. Like divorces might be happening. Jobs might have been lost. Like there is something that happened to get them to this place. So, so we want to think about where these people are, and we want to give to them, and we want to help these people. So with pre-foreclosures, we want to come from a place of giving and love and grace. So if you're in pre-foreclosure, every wholesaler is calling you, every bill collector is calling you, like, give me your house. I want this, give me your money. You're back on this payment. The bank is calling you. Everybody wants, like, yeah, time is their ticking bomb. So how do we set ourselves apart from the banks and the bill collectors and every single foreclosure person, or sorry, wholesaler that wants to buy their house at pennies on the dollar? How do we help them? Compassion is key. Solve their problem. Yes, Atia and Christopher. So we are problem solvers.
I think the best line that I heard was, we help people who are having trouble with the bank.
Yeah.
We're here to help you.
We help you. We help you. And so we come from a place of like sympathy and empathy. And like sometimes some people, like someone says, I'm in pre-foreclosure and I haven't had anyone call me. Well, just wait. You will soon. Wait till it gets closer and closer. So these people, it's just a lot of times it can be tough. So I have to let my dog out. So we want to lead with giving. So we're not going to be like, hey, sorry, that sucks. Can I have your house? Like compassion, give me your house. No. So what we want to do is be like, I get it. You're in a tough spot. Tell me about it. And a lot of times people just want someone to listen to them. So we want to be an ear, and you listen to them. Be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And then they're like, my husband left me. My dog died. And my husband was the breadwinner, and I don't have a job, and I've never worked before. I don't even know what our bank account looks like. I don't even know how to get into it. You know, like so sometimes you just want to be an ear, and we want to help them. And so we want to give them options. And so this is where I can help you guys. Probably may not need to be like, I don't know what to do. So it would be like, have you talked about a loan modification, which is like where you go to the bank and you're like, hey, bank, I haven't paid in 6 months, but can we take this bundle of arrears, is what we call them, your back payments, take this bundle of payments I haven't made and put it on the end of my loan. So that's a loan mod. And so what we do is we work with them on things on like, how can we help you? Maybe I can help you find a buyer or something. And then you can be like, you can be the buyer. So you want to help them. Yeah, we may be able to help you with your options to avoid foreclosure. Matt Wagner says, yes, absolutely. Gator and sub 2 student. He knows, he's been taught by PACE. So exactly, Matt, exactly. We want to lead with value, not like, hey, I want to buy your house for like $2 and it's worth $5. So yes, we want to, this is how we want to use what Matt said. We may be able to help you with the options to avoid foreclosure. And right now you're coming to them as like, I want to help you. And like, maybe you have been in foreclosure and you can be like, I've been in foreclosure and I know how it sucks. Or like, my dad was in foreclosure yesterday and I helped him out of it, or my friend, and so you can just kind of relate with them. Be human, show empathy. That's right. So you guys it's going to be hard to get a hold of these people, right? Because everybody's calling these people and they're not answering their phones. I mean, I wouldn't either if everyone is. So what are ways we get a hold of them? Door knocking. If you're local to that city, door knocking. I saw one kid in sub 2 put this in sub 2, a post-it note on the door and said, call me. And then his number. And then people are like, oh shit, like who's leaving a handwritten post-it note saying, call me on my door? Like, what's going on? Is something wrong? Is my dog lost? Like, so that's a good way. You could do mailers. Mailers gets expensive. So door knocking is door knocking is a good one. Text, voicemail, email, postcards you can do, but it's like, it's literally postcards are like a 1% open rate. So it's just, it's a lot of money for not a good return on your money. You can do that. I'm not saying don't do that, but texting. So that's how you get a hold of these people. And that's how we talk to them. Has anybody, yeah. And a lot of people do just toss the postcards. I don't even look at my postcards. Yes, we are going to focus on phone calls because it's easy to do. Amanda, postcards with QR codes. You can do that if you guys want to have like a pile of money to just burn. You can do that. Go for it. What are the 7 options to help? There's all sorts of options that you can help with. Loan modification is one. So what's the best way to get a hold of sellers? That's what you were just talking about, Teresa, is door knocking, calling, texting. Door knocking is probably most effective because everybody's calling them. Everybody's mailing them bills, texts. Yeah, we can do deals anywhere outside of foreclosures. We're just focusing on pre-foreclosures now because that's the path that Pace took us down. Lots of influencers do encourage mailers. And you have to remember with influencers, sometimes they'll be like, use my code to get 15% off your first mailer. That's an affiliate for them. So every time you use their code, they're making money. But they do, you can do mailers. I'm not saying don't do mailers. I'm just saying they're not effective and they cost a lot of money. And if you want to do them, that's fine.
Can you list the ways that we can help other than loan modification, Carly?
What are the ways? I'm trying to think of them off my head. There's loan mods. There's seeing if you can help them get a loan. There's a loan at a bank that you can maybe help them get. I don't know if you're a gator. Find a gator. It's tough to be the lender yourself. Lenders, it's tough because they're already not paying their bills. I will not loan to somebody that's already... It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's like you just are just borrowing money to service debt, California has a mortgage relief program, personal loan from a relative. Yes, Matt. You get a realtor to list it. There you go, Melissa. Absolutely. There's so many different ways that you can help them. And if they have equity, that's even really good. So those are the different ways that you can help them. And then, so you help them exhaust all these options and you're like, I could help you find a buyer for it. And then we'll wholesale it. That's our ultimate goal, but it's going to be a lot. It's an emotional and time commitment. Look at you, Rick Daniels. Rick's on our team. Look at him throwing out the value. Okay. He says 1, reinstate the loan, catch up the back payments. 2, loan modification must start 37 prior days to auction. 3, short sales. 4, listing with an agent. 5, we buy house with cash, go for terms last. And we do creative financing. So when he says number 5, we always like to say we can buy it for cash, terms last. That's something they teach us in sub 2. So we're like, yes, we'll do cash because everybody wants cash. Be like, okay, let's say it's worth 300,000. They owe 100,000 on it. And you can be like, listen, we can give you this cash offer, but we're going to give you probably $200,000 for what somebody you could sell on the market for 300,000. So people are like, nobody wants that. Be like, I'll offer it. Here's all the cash. Here, cash. And I'm like, but I can give you your asking price on market of $300,000, but I'm going to need terms. What are terms? This is where you guys tag us in. So you guys just need to like soft pitch the terms. Terms can be seller finance. It can be mortgage takeover, which is subject to. There's all sorts of terms. You guys don't need to get involved in that. Like, we're not teaching creative finance here. If you bring us something, we'll take you through the deal and we'll show you how we do it and we'll show you the creative stuff. But what you guys are here to do is find someone that's open to terms or a low ball cash offer and we will get it under contract and help you guys wholesale it. Realtors can help with a short sale. Absolutely right, Atia. So 37 days minimum. Why? Why do we want a 37-day minimum? That's a great question, Todd. Because if their house is going to auction, they have not paid their bills enough to where they have an auction date. So it's gotten down the line far enough. We need 37 days because a loan mod can take has anybody gotten a loan from the bank and knows how long it takes? It takes probably 40 days. Like you're like, hey bank, I want to go buy this house. Then they got to underwrite it. And then they got to look at your taxes. And then, it's just like all sorts of things. So the banks do not move fast. Loan mod is like going to the bank and being like, hey bank, I owe $6,000 on this house. How can we're working on one right now. She moved in during COVID, never paid a bill. She owes $67,000 on it, got a loan mod. So they were like, okay, you own $67,000 on top of the rest of the stuff that you owe us in back payments. We'll put this into another loan at a higher interest rate, just put it on the back, call it good. And you have to pay on both loans. So so yes, Amanda, I was told that everything day up to the auction, everything is negotiable. It is, but not for a loan mod. You can't go to the bank and ask for a loan modification 5 minutes before it's going to auction because that's not going to happen. Loan mods, you need 37 days. Yes, there are other ways to, like if you can find a cash buyer, you can do it up to 5 minutes. Absolutely. Elena says, how are we making money on a loan mod? We're not. Just like Pace made zero money on finding bunnies for that person. I mean, he eventually did, but it's a good question, Elena. Very good question. So that's like how we're giving to them. But where is this going to help us down the line? They're going to be like, hey, Joey, my neighbor friend, Elena really helped me with this loan mod. Maybe you can call her. And then this word of mouth among these people, they'll be like, Elena, I'm in a shitty place. Can you help me? And you're like, yep. And maybe that one doesn't work out and you can't load mod that one, but you can wholesale it. You can absolutely make money down the line. So, and then if they already did a loan mod, yes, Melissa, you can take it. You can take it over subject to. Yes, you can. We're working on one of those right now. The banks don't really know you're doing sub 2. It's really none of their business as long as it gets paid. So yes, you can take over a loan mod. You would not take it over sub 2. So I see what you're saying. So if somebody's already done a loan mod and they're in pre-foreclosure, like the one I'm helping right now, you can take that over sub 2. But if they get a loan mod and you help them, and let's say they end up getting a loan mod, but they can't afford it, you could be like, just take it and I'll pay the payments and help you find a new home. So you can, likely if they get a loan mod and they can afford it, then you're not going to take it over sub 2. Alex says, I'm late. I don't know if this is how do you get over the, it sounds very risky objection. So that's when you guys, if they're open to it and they want to talk terms, that's when you submit the deal to us as the Elephant Challenge leaders. And we will take the negotiations from there and you guys can listen to it. So you guys can submit your open, people that are open to loan mods, they're open to creative, they're open to sub 2, it's elephant.aurorainvests.com. And that's where you guys JV with us. You only want to bring it to one leader because when you submit to us, then you get into a JV agreement, which says you're not going to take this to anyone else. So you bring us a warm lead, we negotiate it, we close it, we bundle it, we transaction coordinate it, we find buyers. You guys get paid as a bird dog on a warm lead, and then we wholesale it. So when you guys get to the part where it sounds risky, be like, it is, but let me tag you over to my partner who is really good at explaining this, and then go from there. So Ricky says, if we submit a lead we want to be a buyer for, how does that work? That is fine. You just have to be able to pay for the consulting of all of this. So we, as sub 2 students, we cannot give documents. We cannot get things under contract unless we get paid for it. And it's something that we can't just give you guys documents. So PACE is like, I'm teaching you this so you guys can make money. So you'll have to pay. Baby elephants get paid based off, like, if you find the deal, then you get a certain amount of money. If you find a buyer, then you get a certain amount of money. So each amount of money that you would get for that, you'd knock it off the price for us, but you'd probably have to at least bring $10,000 plus closing costs plus 8, so you're going to have to pay for it just like anyone else, because you have to pay for the documents and the closing costs. You have to pay for the TC, transaction coordinator. Yes, we will wholesale the lead as well. We do everything. So you just bring us a little warm, lukewarm, or on fire lead, and we take it, and that's what us elephant leaders do. We negotiate it, we get under contract, we transaction coordinate it, we get all the documents going, negotiate. Did I say that? We structure the deal, we work with everybody, we open title, open escrow, find a buyer, and wholesale it. So that's what this is. Let's see. Do you share deals in the group chat? See who has interest. What do you mean by that? Like, what if we have it under contract? Yes, Jesse, if you have it under contract already, then yes, you can work with us. Go to elephant.aurorainvest.com, and at the bottom, I'll just go there. Share. I'll show you guys where you can find the JV contract and how you guys can still work with us. Let's go to elephant.aurorainvest.com. So this is where you put all the information you put it in here. And right here in the pink, there's this JV agreement. It shows how baby elephants get paid. So if you guys have it under contract, let's see. If you bring a sign, so it's all in here. And this is how every single elephant challenge leader will pay off of. So that's how everyone's going to do it. So if you go to Dawn's group, if you go to other people's group, everybody pays the same way. And everybody says there's a lot here. I'll just put it up here. So you get $500 for a warm lead. And I had somebody say, that's not fair. That's not fair if I called. So you have to remember, you guys, these as Elephant Challenge and sub 2, I'm sub 2 mastermind. So sub 2 it's more now. It was $8,000 when I joined. And then we went to the mastermind. That was $20,000. We spent all this time making connections and learning, just like doctors, like you are someone of dentists. I don't know. You guys spend all this time learning. And then we paid for these documents. We paid for these connections. We're paying for a CRM. That's this for you guys to join. I've paid $2,400 for this, and I paid for an integrator to put these through. I have a team like Rick, who is in the comments. Rick is on my team. He's calling these leads. He's negotiating these leads. He's sending out the LOIs. He's got to get paid for this. This is my time. You guys aren't paying for any of this. It's anywhere where you guys won't find this anywhere where you guys get paid to learn. You guys most likely will pay someone to teach you. So, yes, you can. I just want to set the expectations. You can work with us, but you guys, if it's under contract, then there's something in here. Something like if we have to renegotiate it, then it becomes less, but you guys can still if you find a buyer, you get more money. If you bring the warm lead, if you have the contract under contract, with sub 2 contracts, then yes, absolutely. So you can still work with us. But I want to set the stage. Like, this is free from PACE. PACE is not paying you. You guys aren't paying PACE to this. So PACE is taking his time. His students are taking their time. We're building CRMs. We're doing the documents. We're doing the negotiations. We're building out teams to help you guys. So, any questions on that? Someone please share, like, it's elephant.aurorainvest.com. Can you guys write that in the chat for them to help them? How do we find out if there's liens on the property? I can help you with that. You can also look on Privy or whatever thing you guys use. Michael says, if I bring a warm lead to you guys and end up wholesaling, can I be the gator lender for it? Absolutely, Michael. Yes. If you're a gator, you guys are going to need gator because you need EMD, earnest money deposit, when you open an escrow. Jesse says, Jesse Wholesales in Yakima. I love your name. Any percent is better than no deal. We have to start somewhere. Thank you, Jesse, for that attitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. You guys are going to learn so much from this. We are going to record the calls and you can listen to the calls. We hold your hand through this whole deal. If it's a creative deal, you guys can see the documents. You guys are going to get paid to learn, and we're going to show you. You can sit in on the calls. You can sit in on the emails. You can observe how a creative deal gets done. So you guys are going to make some money while you learn. Absolutely, Jesse. I love your attitude. This is so, thank you. Let's see. Dave says, I love that we're leading with helping. That said, I'm a newbie. What if I don't really know how to help? That's what these are here for. That's what you guys are coming here for. I'm training you guys, and the elephant leaders and PACE are telling you guys, you're learning in these Zooms. And then if you bring us warm leads, we can help close. And this is what we're going to talk about in these Zooms: loan modifications. You know, everything like this. I saw Dustin writing down like the 7 ways you can help. You guys just need to be like, get enough to where you need to know enough to be dangerous, and then you tag us in. So if they're open to it, then you can schedule something with us. And if you guys have questions, put all of your questions in the Mario, put your questions in the here, because we're not going to do the hand raises. Atia says it's very valuable training. Tia, you've been here for a little bit. Thank you so much for being consistent. Alan Knowles is here, and he is an Elephant Challenge leader. Hi, Alan. He says it's like The Apprentice. Oh, wait, it keeps going away. Ah, you guys are commenting and it's going away and I can't read it. What does he say? It's like The Apprentice without the risk of getting fired. I love that, Alan. He's also a sub 2 leader and Elephant Challenge leader. He leads Knowles Knows. He's a lawyer. You'll see by his name, he has a sub 2 and his skills. He's a very knowledgeable. He's from Massachusetts. He works in Massachusetts and Florida. He's a great, great resource, you guys. Where do we submit the leads? Can you guys help me and put it in here? elephant.aurorainvest.com. Just so you guys know, if you guys submit leads to me, or if you submit leads to, oh, people are direct messaging me, so I can't, it's going to their direct message. Thank you guys for doing that. Thank you, Drake. Thank you. Okay. So if you guys submit a deal to Alan, since we're using him as an example because he is an Elephant Challenge leader, don't come to my Zoom and submit it to me. Why? When you guys submit leads to us Elephant Challenge leaders, you're entering into a JV agreement, which is a joint venture agreement that says, I'm working with you and I'm working with you only. So you haven't heard anything yet, Mario. Which lead was it? What was the street name? We're working on getting more team members. Rick is in here and he's behind the scenes calling all these. And I can't call today because it's busy today, but we're getting more team members. So are we only submitting to Aurora Invest if it's open to creative? Yes, if it's open to creative or a low cash offer, we can help you wholesale it. But if they want, let me show you guys something. Speaking of thinking like an investor, I made this let me see if I can find it. I made this for my team and I'm going to end up sharing it with you guys too. How do we know if it's a deal? Let me find my little Google Doc I made. I shared this last time. Hold on. I have so many things open here. Oh, that's because I'm on the wrong account. That's why I can't find it. So it's like, what's a deal and what's not a deal? Is this it? Okay, here. I'll share this with you guys. I'm going to share my screen. And I think, Alan, feel free to chime in and tell me what your expert opinion is of this. So criteria for a great deal. So if they're open to creative, but they want 2/3 down, that's not a good deal. It's got to be a lower. So it has to be a great deal. 10% entry fee or lower. What includes in the entry fee? An agent commission, an assignment fee, cash to the seller, arrears or back payments, and closing costs at 2%. So if they want, they're like, yeah, I'm open to creative, but I want $500,000 down. And it's a $600,000 property. That is definitely over our 10% entry fee. If it has a it has a mortgage, a sub 4 interest rate on their mortgage, meaning 4% or lower on their mortgage. It cash flows on a long-term rental. This, don't worry, you guys, this is all new to you, don't worry. And no balloon, meaning like, yeah, I'll sub to it too for 2 years and then you have to pay me off in 2 years. That would be a 2-year balloon. So, criteria for an okay deal, 11 to 15% entry fee. This is still like a very super marginal deal. A balloon of 7 years or more. I will not do a Zoom. Nobody wants to do a 7-year or below balloon. And an interest rate of 4 to 7.7%. Hard pass is there's no comps. There's an entry fee of 20%. 20% of the purchase price or more. So they need a high cash down, balloon 5 years or under, or a negative cash flow. Negative cash flow is okay if it's a great interest rate with no balloon. People will buy that for tax purposes. So when you're saying, do we only submit deals to a creative, do you only submit deals to this? I'll put this link in here for you guys. Think like an investor. Like I said at the beginning, begin with the end in mind. Think like an investor. Is it in a good state? These are all the things that will make things a good deal. So you guys can use that. What is cash flow? Cash flow is the cost that it takes you to run it minus the cost. Hold on. The cost that the renter is paying for it. Let me start that over. The cost that the renter is paying you minus the cost it takes you to run it. The mortgage, I don't know, like pest control, property manager, CapEx, which is like a rainy day fund. The net after all the monthly costs. Thank you, Bob. So if it's a positive number, then it's a positive cash flow. Sure me, I just put it in the text, the document that you guys scroll up. There you go. Thank you, MJ. That's where you can get that. So this is going to, you guys can't edit this. It's a view only. You can make a copy of it if you want to make your own. Thank you, MJ. So what if we don't know about loan modifications and bankruptcy? How do we exhaust those options? This is where you guys shouldn't have to know and are not expected to know. This is where you put your lead into elephant.aurorainvest and we take it from there. Thank you, Matt. You're such a killer. Thank you, Matt. Rent minus, go see what Matt just put in here. Rent minus people, PITI, which is PITI stands for principal, insurance, tax, and interest. So those are all the things that goes into your mortgage payment. Plus war chest funds. War chest funds is also like CapEx or like, oh crap, the roof has a leak. We have a war chest to pull from the money that we put aside for things that we need. So thank you, Matt, for doing that. Only submit, thank you, Rick Daniels. Only submit a deal if you've spoken to the agent or the seller and they are open to creative, and enter some notes that you have of the conversation. If you guys pull a list and be like, go call these, Carly. No, you guys have to call them. let's see what else. So on the great deal breakdown, who's the assignment going to? Is the elephant? So we were just talking about this, Alex Garcia. So you guys are bringing warm leads. Have you guys, that's another thing you guys maybe can look at is the avatar. You guys are bird dogs. So you're bringing warm leads. We just went over this for like 20 minutes. Did you just come in here? I would suggest rewatch it so we don't have to have everybody re-listen to it. You guys go to the JV agreement. It's okay. I'm not trying to call you out. Go to the JV agreement at www.elephant.aurorainvest.com. And if you go to the bottom in pink, it says JV agreement. So you guys, Rick is in here. He's on my team. He's working. He doesn't get paid until we dispo a deal or we wholesale a deal. So you guys do get to make money on this. If you find a buyer, you get to make money. If you get it under contract, you make money. If you submit the warm lead, you'll definitely make money. So you guys will make money on this, but the wholesale fund or the wholesale fee goes to us. I just paid $5,000 for a CRM so you guys can submit leads to me. I've got Rick taking time out of his day. He's working for us. We're having team meetings. We're building out systems and processes. We're negotiating. We are bringing the documents. We're hiring TCs. We're doing the documents. We're opening escrow. We're putting down EMD. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this. So you guys will make money, but the majority of it goes to us because we are taking our time and our knowledge. It's like a consulting fee. Let's see. So Trent says, I have a cousin in Lafayette listed with an agent. Should I pitch him with creative or still go through the agent? So you can, this is tough. You should definitely, Drake is right. Since you know the seller, you can talk to the seller, but you'd still have to get the agent paid regardless. Absolutely right. We are people of high ethics. So even if it's your cousin and it's on market, you have to pay that agent. You can't go around the agent. Never go around the agent. Now, if your cousin takes it off market and he's like, I decided no. And then 3 months later, you come down the line and you're like, let's pitch creative. Then that can be yours. So, La Quinta, I'm just happy to learn for free until I join sub 2. Yes, I love your attitude. CRM, what does that mean? So when a CRM, I forget, tell me when, so when you guys submit a deal, if you go to elephant.aurorainvest.com, it goes into a pipeline where it's like, I can show this to you guys. Maybe I shouldn't show it to you as people's names and stuff and addresses on there. It goes into it's the program that we use to manage leads. Is this available to rewatch? This is all live streaming on my YouTube, you guys. And Rick Daniels' wife, Julie, is phenomenal. She's the one that she's on our team too. She's posting the replays. So if you go to youtube.com, you'll see that it's live streaming right now. I'll put the link in here. And you guys, later, Julie will, she's a teacher, so it will be after 3 p.m. Pacific time. She will post the replay for you guys. And then it's also right there if you guys want to put it in there. And if, so this is just like a download afterwards. We'll start in here and we'll do calls later, you guys. But this is just a download off of everything. So I'm going to give you guys the list, the skip traced Austin list, because it's the only one that we have skip traced now. Do you guys remember the list that Pace was talking about? John says, how long after we submit it, you guys can call the seller? Our goal is to have it the same day, but we're still onboarding team members and there's only so many people that can help us right now. So how do you get a copy of the list right now? I will give it to you in the chat. Okay, Andy says, I got a Georgia list with sales happening October 3rd. So Andy got a list from a sub-2 student, Christian Hernandez. Andy, if you give that list to people, and if you call on that list, you cannot submit those to me. You can, but that is not in good faith. You should submit those deals to Christian because he pulled a list. It costs money to pull these lists. So be careful, you guys. If Christian says, go ahead and have this list for free, and I don't expect anything from this, then absolutely share it in an Elephant Challenge Zoom. However, sometimes people will pull these lists for people just like Pace is doing for this. So if you guys with these lists that we're pulling, don't take these to anybody else that's not a sub-2 leader, that is an Elephant Challenge leader. That's for these. So if Christian might have spent, let's just hypothetically say he pulled a list, he spent $700 pulling this list and is giving it to people. And the idea is you guys call on him, and then you bring these warm leads to him and he helps you close them and he helps makes money from these. So Andy, I don't know what he wants with these lists, but you should not be giving these lists to anybody else for them to submit them to me, because that's not fair to Christian Hernandez. I am giving you lists that you can submit the deals with to Elephant Challenge leaders. So, and don't share these with everybody. So Robert says, once we close a deal with you guys, you can see the documents. You guys no, you can't use those documents. They're sub-2 documents. If you're not a sub-2 student, Robert, you can't, no, use those. And the documents will change. Each document is going to change with each deal. So it's not just like sale price, enter here, buyer, enter here. There's so many different things that go into a deal. Like it might be a hybrid deal. It might be a wrap deal. It might be a straight sub-2. It might be seller finance. There's so many different things that go into these. There's going to be different documents for every single thing. So you guys will not get a copy of them, but you guys will screen share them and we'll show them to you. And how we did the documents, but you do not get a copy of those documents, and you can't. If you want to do creative deals and you're not a sub-2 student, you need to find a sub-2 student to do the documents for you. Alex says, what if I want to buy a list for San Antonio? Can I share it here in the elephant group and get first dibs, like the property? Yes, you can. You just have to make sure that there's some way for them to, you just have to trust the people you give it to. Like, you don't want to be like, here, I'm going to skip trace a list, and then they take it to a whole different Zoom and then it's gone. So where do you buy lists? And you should go back and watch the Elephant Challenge. Pace went a whole day on that. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys the Austin list. What are we not going to do with these lists? Put it in the comments while I go get it. We can share them, but we're not going to call these and then take these leads to a sub-2 student that's not an official Elephant Challenge leader. So, I mean, you guys can, it's just bad ethics. I had a baby elephant bring me a deal and I started working on it. And then he decided he wanted to buy it himself and stopped talking to me. And that was really shitty. And I know who he is. And I was it's just karma. I'm not going to do anything with it, but, it's just unfortunate for him because like you're so short-sighted. Like I was like, I'm going to bring you on the Elephant Challenge. I'm introduced to Pace and we're blah, 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 blah. And, we'll promote you and we'll get your first deal done. And I mean, now he just has it's a small community. People will know. Okay, so you guys are right. We're not going to just go off and like blast this on the internet because these people are all in pre-foreclosure and everyone's going to be calling them at once. You can do an Arlington, Virginia list if you pull one. Absolutely. You can pull them. Watch Pace just pulled markets. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, and like how to pull lists and why we picked this market, you guys need to go back and watch the Elephant Challenge. So, you can call them, but I'm just saying, for the most part, just you can do whatever you want with these. Just don't take other sub 2 students lists and take them to call them and then take them to a different leader to close them to make money on it. So Christian Hernandez list should not be submitted to me, please. If you're going to share them, submit them to Christian Hernandez. Okay, let me find that list. Okay. Yeah, Alan, you're right. And the leaders are always in touch. You guys, we have a meeting once a week and there's been people that have like shop deals to us and they'll come in here. Like, it's okay for Alan to be in here. He's another leader. We are not, I'm like, go to Alan's Zooms, submit deals to him. We're all on the same page. We're all on the same team and we know we help each other. So we're not going behind anyone's back. If you guys want to submit, just don't be like, I'm going to submit this to Alan and I'm going to submit this to Carly. And then we both start working on it. And then we're like, oh shit, we're both working on the same deal, you know? But Alan's going to pay you the same way I'm going to pay you. And Dawn and whoever else, we're all on the same team. We are not going behind anyone's backs. But if Christian Hernandez is pulling you guys' list, don't pull it in here for you guys to submit it to me and don't submit it to Alan. Submit those to Christian Hernandez. Okay, so here's the list, you guys. And then I'm going to go because I have to get ready for a Gator Zoom. So this list, just like everything, you're going to have to make a copy of it. There's in big yellow, it's going to say, don't try to edit, don't request edit. So this is just the Austin list. We'll call on these on Wednesday. And Alan, use this list for your team. I'm going to post it in there for the leaders. So Alan, if you're still here, it's the only one that we have skip traced right now, and you can give this to your team. So, what company do you suggest we use to get local numbers since most people won't answer out of state? You can get a Google Voice. Yes. All right, you guys, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming. You guys stayed the whole hour. 150 of you guys. Thank you for coming. I have flies in my house and I need to go kill them. My kids left the doors open yesterday. So if Robert, I'm not going to send you a link to the next Gator Zoom. It's where all the Gator Zooms are in the Facebook group. I posted it this morning. Anyways, thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you guys. Every single one of you are absolute go-getters. Of the 3,000 people that were on the Zoom, 140 of you guys, or at least on this one. So you guys are the action takers. I appreciate you. We'll talk about call scripts later. We'll call them on Wednesday. Wednesday, our Zoom is at 9 a.m. Pacific, which is noon Eastern. Same Zoom link. Amazing Julie Daniels will post it for you guys. She'll post the replays. And you guys are amazing. So this is just the Austin list he pulled. Do you guys want to see the list he pulled? Do you want to see the back end of Pace's batch? Let's see if I can find it. Actually, I'm not going to share it next. I think it has his password. Hold on. Let me get to it. I'll show you guys how many are skip traced. Okay, here we go. So these are the ones we're waiting for these to skip trace, but my lists. Okay. Not that one. Skip trace. Okay, so these are what we have. We have Austin, Orlando, Houston, Nashville, and Atlanta. And if you don't know why he picked those things, you need to go back and you need to watch the last day of the Elephant Challenge, all of the Elephant Challenge, which is replaying on YouTube. It's under the replays section on Circle. This one's just the only one that's done. These are all just processing. So I'm waiting for these. But there you go. So these were our pre-foreclosures list. Those are all the ones that you guys will get when it's done processing. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for coming. The leader list is on the Circle app. Alan says it is. And if you guys don't know how to find a leader, go to the Start Here section. I feel like all of you guys have been there though, because you're here. So, you guys will get the lists as they are done processing. Everybody will get them. All the leaders will have them to give to their teams. So yes, you will get the Nashville list. Okay, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming. And I hope you guys have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye. Oh, let me just do this. Who just said that? Chris says, so to be clear, I'm now in on an Elephant Challenge accountability team. Yes, if you are here, you are on our team. Nobody has to approve you. You can decide Carly sucks and you can go to Alan's team later and be like, I like Alan way more, and you're on Alan's team. So just come on these Zooms. This is where you get the list. This is your team meeting. This is where we'll talk about, we'll make calls, you'll get lists. And you guys can go to other ones. Thanks, Alan. You're great. It's not easy. You're right. All right, you guys have a good day. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being action takers. Thank you for being